Yo, what's up?
Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast.
If you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, help us get into those charts. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button.
And while you're there, leave a lovely comment. Tell us what this podcast means to you. If there's any funny bits, any guests, we'd love to hear about it. Just drop a comment. We're always watching. Let's get into the podcast.
Yeah.
Parents must be proud.
If they weren't dead, they would be.
Alright, bye.
Never underestimate how much a lonely, horny dude will pay money. So I was just making fun of her from the stage. I was like, "You're fucking mental, you're mad." And then her mate was like, "You've been messaging her on Insta." And then her defense, I absolutely have been, yeah.
Here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack, here's the crack. Welcome back, talking shit, I'm drinking wine, like and subscribe. Here's the crack.
How's it going, people? Welcome back to another episode of the Here's the Crack podcast. I feel like I say the same thing every damn time we record this. Another week, another guest.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Ironically,
the only thing you contribute to this podcast.
Another week, another guest. William Thompson, how's it going?
What's the crack, man? Thanks for
How's
having
it
me,
going?
guys.
No
Thank
problem
you.
at all. You've decided to come in, grace us with your presence.
Yes.
Thomas has an opening question for you.
Yeah, the same question. If
Hopefully it doesn't go the same way as his camera skills. Beef.
Wow, comedian. Go-to hangover feed.
Go-to hangover? Oh, fuck. That's like crisps or Chinese?
Crisps.
Oh, I'm a big crisp guy.
But how many crisps? Like? You obviously don't just get one bag. Like.
No, we're not talking, not like a wee small multi-pack. We're talking like one of those family bags. You know, it's made to share, but you're not sharing it.
What crisps? Like?
Oh, Monster Munch. Pickled onion Monster Munch. I don't want to smell good that day.
No, you don't, man.
No.
I love pickled onion. It is
Thank
the
you.
best fucking crisp flavour. We were discussing this the other night. Like, it has to be the best crisp
Trash,
flavour ever. Like,
Yep.
Wonderful.
Definitely not.
Once you know you're not speaking that, you're not going to be really close to someone's
Yeah.
face that day. Pickled onion.
It
Even if
or
you were,
scampi fries.
Even if you were, you wouldn't care.
Yeah, even if you really hate them.
Yeah. You'd just be like, pickle
Just
on
drink
me.
the dust at the
Yeah.
end of the crisp.
Love
Just-
it. I've recently fell in love with knickknacks. You know, nice and spicy
so good.
knickknacks.
So
the
good.
orange ones.
Proper pub food. Like.
Absolutely.
They're
Yeah.
great, but they're a weird
They're
shape.
They're crap for when you're driving. Like when you're
Yeah,
driving
yeah.
home. Like if we go out at night, I'll stay up here, and then whenever I'm driving home, I always get a bag of knickknacks. I'm pure like,
But they just look like a
all
wee
over
finger
my
that's
car.
been like
Yeah.
broken 3 places.
yeah, exactly. But like a wee like witch finger, like they're tiny.
Yeah.
They're not even. They're very thin. Yeah, not. Well, they're lovely. Like they taste lovely, but it just ends up you have to dump them in your mouth. Like
Yeah,
just-
and they stick to your hand.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
get everywhere, those, and they're like
Exactly.
clump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're one of those. They always wreck my clothes. Can I get it on my hands? And
Yeah.
I'll end up doing that.
Yeah.
yeah. So Chinese as well.
Yeah, big
What do you get in the Chinese? Though?
salt and chili something. The
Has to
the
be,
meat
has to be.
doesn't matter
Has to
Yeah.
be.
as long as it's salt and
Do
chili.
you rice or chips?
Rice, I don't like chips, man.
Noodles though.
Something about chips out
I
of
prefer
Chinese.
noodles to rice.
I
Like.
prefer chips.
See, I don't eat potatoes at all, so I don't like chips.
You eat chips. You eat crisps.
It's a texture thing.
Caught.
It's a texture thing. do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That used to be when I was younger and you're getting school dinners. Like, I don't like potatoes. Like, when you eat crisps and you're like, take a mouthful of mashed potato and then a mouthful of crisps. You
So
tell me
true.
that tastes the same.
And Chinese chips are normally quite soggy because they're like in like a paper bag. They get moist.
Yeah. It's like
Oh, a horrible word to
it's
say.
like they've been out in the rain
Exactly.
and someone's just
I
brought
don't
them in.
rate Chinese chips though. Like. They're not as nice out of a Chinese.
They're always the same chips too. Like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
never get a different
they're
chip
like-
out of a Chinese.
Yeah,
Like.
no, they're
That's
always
actually,
trash.
that's actually a great point.
And the rice as well is the same too. Like, if you just get a fried rice out of a Chinese, it's the same in every Chinese. Like.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, like,
The
they're
noodles
supplied
are
by the
never
same place. Like.
I hate.
Yeah,
like,
the noodles
I
are
hate,
always
like,
different,
The
like,
thick
but-
noodles, you know, the noodles that look like fucking slugs. Like. They're
Yeah.
rotten.
I like dreads.
I
Like, they're so.
I prefer the thin ones.
Such an intelligent conversation. I
This is what it's all
love
about.
it.
though.
This is what
do
this.
you like? I don't like them when they're like too thick.
Oh, they're pure crap. We'll get right into it. You obviously have your own podcast. Does it go the same way as this? Just hit record and pray that something
Yeah.
comes out of your mouth that
You guys have even got more prep than we've got.
nice.
Because me and Paddy have known each other for so long, Paddy McDonald, that it is just hit record.
Yeah.
I will maybe prepare emergency topics, so if it gets a bit cold and everyone stops talking, we can go on to that. But Paddy is, for lack of a better term, fucking mental. So he just has so many stories.
Yeah.
You're literally like, oh, I was in IKEA shopping. He's like, there's one day I was in IKEA. Ended up just beating a man with a fucking bedpan. I was like, why'd you do that? Because I was getting fucking meatballs. And it's like every story. And you're like, have you ever went anywhere and not assaulted a man? And the answer is no. Every time.
I love that though. It's good to get people on who like what we're normally finding, like if we have anybody on who's like in the comedian sort of industry, but like it's good to know like when people have their own podcast, like what way it goes, because I feel like sometimes we're over prepared but we feel under prepared.
Oh, you guys are very prepared.
Thank you.
Very prepared.
Feed our ego. We love it. Thomas,
that's why like sometimes we're like, do you sit and write all your podcasts and all? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes I haven't even turned up early, as you guys found out. I turned up late. I'll rock up like half an hour after I'm meant to be there, like hit record, we'll go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Fair. But I know with us, like we normally write stuff down and maybe start on the topic and then it just goes really zigzaggy.
Especially if I've guests.
Oh, 100%. You've something down here from Go On Ahead, Elon
No, I was
Musk.
going to mention talk about the whole Elon Musk ban Twitter thing.
I thought you meant you had a message from Elon Musk. I was like,
big
did you?
mates, like,
Read that?
I'm telling you.
I'm a silent investor in
Elon.
fucking Tesla.
Elon Musk, what do you get from a chain?
Elon, can you come on and know why all the chips are the same?
you get salt and chili as well. I love that.
I feel like his go-to hangover meal would be so like
sushi or something.
Yeah,
like.
100%.
Like dried seaweed in a wee bag or something strange like that.
He would probably be like, so at SpaceX we've developed this pill and I actually take it before I go on a night out and I'm completely fine. I've heard actually people do that.
What, take pills on the night out? Yeah, I've heard of that too.
No, actually, was it? I was sitting. It was like
people do them IV drips for a hangover now.
Yeah.
Have you seen
Yeah,
that?
they've become a
like
big
proper
thing,
fucking
yeah.
LA and all. Like they
People
just
do
stick an
that,
IV drip.
you know.
Like it's like they call it like a banana bag, but it's like all full of like nutrients and stuff. You wake up the next day and just poke yourself in the vein. And
I don't think
like
you
an
do it
IV
yourself.
Yeah, it's dodgy, like.
Oh, like you
They
get
come to your
you
house
can
and
buy
do
them,
it,
or
man.
you can get people to come over.
I've
and do
seen
them.
people put needles in their arm, but it's not IV drips.
No,
like,
this is actually
people
a thing.
under the bridge aren't doing IV drips where I'm from.
I don't know if you can get it over here.
I've no
I doubt
idea.
it. Would you trust someone over here to come
Abs-
to your house and stick needles in you?
Imagine.
I
It
don't
would
think
be
so.
some 45-year-old just yummy mummy just coming out. Hey, love, get your arm out there.
There'd be some
Just
Instagrammer doing
sparkling
it.
river rocking about. Hang on, and feel Stacey, don't you feel wonderful?
You wake up an hour later and your TV's gone.
Just Baraka in a bag.
Yeah,
there, just stick it in
100%
there.
straight into you. Like. But it would to be fair, that would probably work. I know whenever I was in the hospital that time,
Baraka in your blood?
They put paracetamol, like you know the way you can take paracetamol tablets. They give me the same amount of paracetamol, but in like through an IV, straight away headache gone.
Yeah, it's going straight into your bloodstream though.
So probably would work.
What were you in hospital for? That they're like,
Appendix.
appendix,
Yeah, I
like
got my appendix,
paracetamol in
yeah.
the blood.
Yeah. So they like put it into the bag, and you're like, oh, you feel like if you're a druggie, you're like, oh yes, I can feel it flowing through my veins. And, yeah.
That's us now.
Yeah, but I think like you probably could get it over here. It'll just be really dodgy.
Just
Yeah.
imagine watching Train Spotting, man. Like those lads are so hungover, they keep doing IV drips. Bless them.
How did we get onto this? Asked about Elon Musk.
I don't even know. Like.
You take it away.
Notice the whole Elon Musk ban Twitter thing. Like.
So Phil is
Do you
in.
think anything's going to change? Like? What do you mean, fill us in? He bought Twitter. Like.
Did he say Twitter?
Yeah, he's bought it
44
now.
billion.
Yeah. Imagine having that much money. You're like, I want that. I'm gonna buy it. That's it, man.
Chinky like unban Trump. I hope he does.
He's all
That'd
like
be
this.
funny,
It's
innit?
this whole thing.
They're
that
mates, aren't they?
He believes in free speech and all. So like everyone's like, Twitter's just gonna get worse. Like.
I hope so.
Good.
I
It's gonna get
like
better.
it, but it's a complete dumpster fire.
Yeah. Like
Do you know what I mean?
we don't really post stuff on
No.
Twitter. I go on Twitter just
Yeah.
to find out like news. I would nearly use Twitter to like prepare for this, like just see what's trending.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But like I don't understand why is he. Why is
So
he
I just
bought it?
find it mad that like literally in the space of 2 weeks he's been like, I want that, bought it. Like.
When someone's
That's it,
under
like.
30 and they're like, oh, I tweeted this, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing on
Yeah.
Twitter? What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. Or
It's
even
for
Facebook
old
now.
people. Yeah, even
Yeah.
Facebook, yeah. Once your man, dad join the social platform,
Yeah.
it's dead.
It's dead.
It's
like.
done, like.
Or
Yeah.
Karen on Karen. Like I feel like the older generation are now getting on TikTok. Scary times.
Yeah.
Scary times. I've seen like a few people on TikTok now who are like doing them thirst traps and stuff, and they're like 50.
I
And
feel
you're like,
50.
yeah, 50.
What's on your For You page?
I don't know.
That's grannies twerking.
That's the secret sauce. That's the secret sauce of
For
TikTok.
You page is so
Yeah.
unique. You're like, I don't know, seeing these twerking
Yeah.
grannies.
I mean, just you.
You get
Just
them once.
you.
You on TikTok? You're bound to be on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm on TikTok.
Right, you're bound to get them where they come up sometimes. If you're seeing this video, you're probably a male, aged below 25. You probably struggle with this, and I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my god, that's me!" And in the background, it's just someone playing Minecraft, and you're like, "What? Why is this on my For You page?"
But that's like, they'll cast such a wide net.
Yeah.
It's like when a psychic is it like those live performance psychics, and like if anyone in the room lost a loved one in a room of 200 people, someone's gonna know someone who's fucking died.
Yeah.
It's not, you know what I mean?
There was a thing I was at the other day, and they actually done the same thing. It was like a christening type thing, and the guy at the front was like, "I just got this notion in my head that there's someone here." And they've recently lost a loved one, and I went, this is a room full of 250 people, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? If we're casting the net back, like, I've
Yeah.
lost a few people, like when is this time frame? And
Yeah.
people are just like, yes, that's me,
Yeah.
that's me, and they're like, come to the front. It's like 70 people come to the front. You're like, what the heck? Like, just like, how does this work? Mystical madness. People are like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But then you see like on like social media, you've got like what are they called? It's like them churches over in Africa where they pure like splash holy water and like suck
like
demons
fucking-
out of you.
Witch doctor or shit like that.
I have not, but I would like to see that.
Lad.
They're over. There's even people in America do that. Like proper.
they're like gone. You know, like they're pure like, this woman has been struggling with like whatever, she's got a sore knee, and they bring them up and they're like rubbing the knee,
And then they like touch them before and they start like body popping and shit. They're like, oh, it's the spirit of Jesus.
Start doing this.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You're like, what's up? What's this preacher doing to you? You know what I mean? Calm down. And then it's like, hop for me, and they're hopping on the bad knee.
Yeah.
And you're like, how has this worked? But then they do documentaries that debunk them.
The atmosphere in those places is class. Like anytime I've been to church, it's like a man who is beyond 90.
Yeah.
Just talking like that there. And I'd love to see where everyone's up going like,
Sick.
fucking yes!
It'd be sick.
Jesus!
Love them.
Yeah. Patricia's blessed! Oh, y'all feeling? Do you know, I'd love to be at that. I want to come out of church sweating.
But like,
If I was some fucking servant today, like,
I feel like over here, because we're so reserved,
pre-drinking before going to mass.
but like I was,
I'm sick.
it's weird, like, but I don't even know how we managed to get on this conversation, but anyway, we'll streamline it back. So obviously you are a comedian.
Yes.
And I feel like I hate asking these questions because it feels so like just like the standard thing, but like, what age are you?
25.
25. So like, has comedy always been something like you've been into? Like, has it always been like, because it's good, we asked Mickey about this and he was like sort of saying he was like the funny guy in school.
Yeah.
Were you the same, or did you manage to sway into this industry?
I was always just the loudest fucking dude. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I like to think I'm the funniest. Most people are like, you were annoying as shit. You would never, like, you would say one funny thing and then say 9 unfunny things because you just didn't know when to fuck up. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's, I feel too many these days, like everyone's so like sees a TikTok being like, oh, do you ever get restless nights? You have ADHD. But I feel it's like every report card I ever got was like, distracts himself and others around him. Every single report card. So I've always just enjoyed like fucking about. Not even being funny, just fucking about.
Yeah.
And being a messer.
So you don't have ADHD, you just...
I could do. A lot of them, like all my brothers and sisters have it.
Yeah. Well, we were actually talking about this in like a couple of podcasts ago about the whole... Like, it was
they come up with my TikTok videos all the time and they're like, do you do this? Do you do this? And I'm like, yes.
Do you struggle to pay attention to simple things? Yeah, I do.
You're sitting there with a movie on, listening to music, watching a TikTok video, being like, I do. I do.
But then someone actually, I was talking about this to someone recently, and they snapped me back to reality because the same thing came up. It was like, your partner may have ADHD if they watch the same shows over and over again. And I'm like, oh my word, I watch the same movies over and over again.
Yeah.
I think I said this to Lucinda. I was like, she was like, do you like the movie? And I was like, yeah. She's like, you may just really like the movie.
There's just
I don't have a mental illness.
If there's nothing on Netflix, you just put the same thing on.
Yeah.
You've ADHD.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm pretty sure I've watched Tokyo Drift like 70 times.
Oh my word.
You know.
That's the only Fast and Furious movie I like.
So good. The
I
best.
hate
It
the
is
rest
the
of them.
best.
That's a good one.
Anytime
brilliant,
you
man.
watch it, you just start like talking the whole film.
Just start saying all the words. I know every line of it.
DK, Drift King.
It and fucking Talladega Nights.
Yeah, Talladega.
They're my two go-to
Class as
movies.
well.
But yeah, but that's just our generation. I think have Netflix, because if you think back when like Sky was just a thing, everyone would be like, "There's fuck all on,"
Yeah.
and they end up watching
Yeah.
like reruns of Friends.
It's
Or
just
Two
a
and a Half
go-to
Men.
thing for like older people to say,
I
"There's
found out
fucking
the other-
nothing on this Sky."
I found out the other day, my man dad's paying £45 for a Sky package, the entertainment package.
That's cheap.
Oh fuck!
That's cheap
Just-
for Sky.
No,
Sky's
hey,
ridiculous.
No movies.
Yeah.
No sport.
Yeah.
Just so literally
You get
you
it
are
for
paying
free.
£45 a month for the ability to record.
It's just
That's it.
Just Freeview, like.
I don't understand why Sky's
It's
still
still a thing. Exactly.
I don't get it.
I have one cracking up whenever Netflix raises the price by like
If you
£2
don't-
as well.
If you don't have the dodgy Amazon stick now, there's no
Yeah.
hope for you, like.
And
Seriously.
Sky's a nightmare too. To be like, it's £15 when you sign up, and then 2 months later, like it's £9 million
And
now.
then you have to return the box.
Yeah.
But then what they do is like if you ring up and you're like, I'm gonna cancel, they'll just drop the price, just like slash
Yeah.
it in half.
Yeah.
and
Unless you
maybe
knew a
they-
guy who could chip it.
Yeah.
Do you ever have a chip Skybox?
I think that's like the dodgy Amazon
chip
sticks
guy.
now.
The guy
love
could
it.
chip it.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. We have one of them fire sticks, but then they always go down. You have the dodgy one. The
Yeah,
one that
but they say
you
it's
can get
dodgy, it's
everything.
He keeps saying, what's on it?
Everything. Sports.
Yeah, I feel like it's
What's
a,
on the record?
Everything.
I feel like it's a hard drive. You need to fucking drop it or whatever. That's on this fire
It's
stick.
just fucking everything. Like,
Yeah, literally,
sports,
it literally is everything.
sports, movies, whatever. Like.
Porn.
Porn.
Weird porn.
There is an adult channel as well.
There's like
I
50
came
adult
across
channels.
one night when I was just exploring.
Yeah,
It was
but,
one
like,
on it.
You're bound to know what it is, like.
Yeah.
Not
No, I know.
porn.
No.
Never watched
What's
it.
porn?
What's that?
What's that? I've never seen it before.
I love that there is still specifically porn channels going.
Yeah.
Like who's been like, can't wait till 11. My favourite ones are like, bro.
Or
just go
imagine
online.
people watch it just for like the. I've seen this thing. I think I said it to you. It's like watching it because for the story. It's like I am
They
your
just turn
father-in-law. We cannot be doing this. People just eating popcorn. Like wow.
I went from Darth Vader to an Indian dude. I want to see this porn.
I'll send
It's
you
the
link
fucking
later, don't
babe station ones too. Like people actually call into that shit. Like they get fucking turned off by that. Like.
worry. But is it real people? Or are they just pre-recording? Like, is it like Steve?
Who knows?
Is it
But
like
there's
Stephen
there is
Nolan?
people calling. Like
Oh, yeah.
there has to be. Like.
Never underestimate how much a lonely horny dude will pay money.
I
That's what the internet's
I
taught
could
me.
not be that person that calls into somewhere like even like I know it's a stark like to go from this to like this, but Stephen Nolan, right?
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't sprung to my mind for any other reason other than so I think I
Babe
said you
station.
If he was on the station, he'd be ringing on.
yeah, 100%.
I watched the Nolan show. It was just him like bouncing on the week. Tell me how you feel about the local election.
twisting the telephone cord. Oh,
SDLP, you
today,
dirty
today we've got Deirdre from Ardmore, and you're like, what the flip? But there was a guy.
I'm like, oh, there's too many flags. I think, oh, it's fucking filthy.
And are they red, white, and blue? Oh, tell me more, Patricia. But there was a guy rung in the other day, and he was like, "Oh, what do you think of all this woman thing?" And they were like, "Have you ever watched? I watched that the Loose Women the other day. It's
Women?
It's dreadful. So it is.
Women too,
It's
like,
dreadful." And he's like, "Really, John? Tell me why it's dreadful." Oh, just women having opinions. And you're like, "This is radio." He's paid what? How much a year? But
He's paid £3 million a year.
is he?
That's what he
He's
gets.
one of the has-paid people in the BBC.
Three. I thought it
And
was
that's
like
like the
600 and
BBC
odd
like
thousand.
overall. Like
That's
not
more
just
than-
Northern Ireland. Like.
That's including Jimmy Savile. Like
Yeah.
See, imagine he was still on the payroll.
he's probably still getting royalties. Like
Jimmy
Does
Savile.
he?
He's not. He's
Sure
not
he's
getting
them out of
anything.
somewhere. Like
He's dead.
oh, but it goes to his estate.
I think it's just all of his estate are dead. Maybe. I don't know.
This is maybe a topic we should sway away from.
I'm all for it. let's ask these questions. Is he still getting paid?
Let's swing on to the. No, let's swing on to the
One question: if you rang Babe Station, what would you say? What like if that person answered the phone? What would the first thing you say be? Like
You'd just be so.
I'm
annoyed.
just sitting here thinking about
I
this.
feel like
Like
you just do that well. What's the crack?
Would you?
What do you get from a Chinese?
have you ever got the chips? Aren't they all the same?
Has get your tits out on camera, is that what you've always wanted to do, or did you just like fall into that?
Brandy, that's a queer bit of weather we've got there the past few days. What have you been doing with yourself? Sure. Imagine you sitting in working on a day like that there.
Did you ever see the video a guy brings in just to talk about biscuits? It was an old like viral video, and he's being like, "Oh, sometimes I like the nubs." And he's just taking a piss, and she's like, "Yeah, you like fucking nubs." So yeah, sometimes I like to digest them. She's like, "Oh yeah, right over my tits." It's fucking ridiculous. That's amazing.
They should fucking release all those phone calls just to the public.
Big time. I remember, I can't remember what comedian told the story. There was one time one of the ladies was like bouncing on the sofa, and she fell over, and like her underwear like fell out a bit, and someone complained.
I think I've seen that, yeah.
I think it's an old Jason Mumford bit where he's like,
yeah,
who
I think it was
complained
Jason
about
Mumford, yeah. He's like, who's watching this?
yeah,
And he's
who's
like,
going-
no, that's way too
Yeah,
much.
someone's going,
That's too
Jeez,
far.
man.
it's got tits, love tit.
Primark underwear, oh no. Red flag. Speaking of TV, obviously it's not Babe Station, but you're getting your, well, it could be Babe Station where you have to,
Yeah, I'm getting my tits out for Channel 4.
explain then, because when you messaged me about that, I was like such a cool thing, like Channel 4
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Parents
It's-
must be proud.
It's,
Love it.
if they weren't dead, they would be.
All right, bye.
That's the, I don't know if anyone has a dead parent, that's the one benefit. It's so fun. Was like, and what's your mum think? And I'm like, nothing. She's dead. And then just like watching the room like stir into their drinks. That's very funny for me.
But anyway, explore Channel 4. What was this whole thing about? Or?
Yeah. So it's a thing called the BLAP series, which is essentially they develop a number of TV pilots.
Right.
And then they screen them on 4OD, and then they choose to make whatever. They could make them all, they could make none of them. But it's essentially, it's a TV pilot, and it's based on my life growing up with cerebral palsy on a council estate,
Right. Okay.
which is a quite unique living experience.
Right.
So it's basically that. That's what the show is. It was written by myself and Dave Elliott.
Is this a comedy or what?
Oh yeah, it's a comedy. Imagine it was a fucking hard-hitting drama. No, it's a comedy. Yeah. No, I've written this musical
Imagine
interpretive piece.
It's a documentary. He just recorded his life the whole way through. And
Just me eating a bag of crisps with a bad hand.
But like, can you? I take it you're obviously bound to secrecy with some things, but can you like explain like?
That's the thing. I don't actually know how much I can say. I know
legally?
it's out on the 6th of May
Oh, well,
on
this-
4OD.
This podcast, we might need to push this forward.
Actually,
a
if
bit.
not, it's out already. It's out now.
It's out now.
It was out 2 weeks ago. Go watch it.
But it's about William and his brother Nathan, his best friend Matty, just in the lead up to the 11th night bonfire.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's also, in addition to being like a council estate and disabled, it's like the Protestant side of
okay.
Northern Ireland, which
Yeah.
you have Jerry goes. Me and Dave were both Protestants. We were like that. We feel like Protestants are always seen as like silly wee marching orange men in anything that's made, and that certainly does exist. But there is a side of it where it's like, we don't, like, the majority of us don't go about screaming about flags and
What's it called? London Dairy Boys?
It's at William of Orangedale. Come on out, yeah.
Oh, is it actually?
Yeah. William of Orange. So,
I feel like I looked at you there as if like, are you being serious? You were like, yeah.
No,
I know it's
that
actually
wasn't me
good.
joking. It's called William of Orangedale.
That's cool. That's cool. So like, where like 6th of May then? Okay, and what was like the whole like? So it wasn't like a documentary. It was actually like a proper, like, say proper as if a documentary's not, but like a TV. Like you had to act. Essentially.
Yeah. So I had to act. I had to write it. Which is and it's the first thing I've ever written.
Have you spent much time writing it? How long was it writing for?
The idea for it came pre-lockdown, and then me and Dave spent several months over lockdown writing it. The initial writing it didn't take that long, but when you're working in TV, there's constant back and forth. There's you can say this, you can't say this, you have to rewrite that. That scene doesn't make sense. Oh, that scene's too offensive. You have to take there's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there's a lot of bases to be covered. It's like, you're not allowed to be like blasphemous. You're not allowed to do certain things.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of back and forth with that. And then there's even like certain things you're like, you may want to do, but you've argued about something else, and you can't argue over fucking everything. So there's a lot of back and forth on it. So overall, it took about a year of development.
And how does that, like, how do you even go about like getting like Channel 4 to take on the show in the first place? Like, how does that work?
So what happens is you pitch it to a production company.
Right.
So Dave had an agent. We wrote it. He sent his agent sent it out, and it got accepted by a production company called Hat Trick, which
I've
now
heard
knows how
of it,
trick they've
yeah.
made. Father Ted, Dairy Girls, IT Crowd, they've made Have I Got News For You? They have a great reputation
Yeah.
with TV. So when they sent it off to Channel 4, and once you have a good backing from a production company, then Channel 4 take a look at it, and they were like, yeah, this is a unique thing. We want to make this. And plus with like Dairy Girls coming to an end, so they're looking for like, you know, the next sort of series.
So in terms of it then, obviously, like you could do a TV show where it's about like sort of growing up on like the Protestant side and stuff, but like what was, obviously it's a pretty obvious question about that, so like the cerebral palsy end of it, like how does it impact, like is it mainly focused on that, like what were the differences, or what are some of the things that people can expect to see?
This is it. Here's the thing, right? So I didn't want to do another show where the main character, his characterization is he is cerebral palsy. Everything is a cerebral palsy based issue, which that's not slagging any shows that are like that. There's some amazing ones that are like that, but I want to do something unique. And it's always been the way I've been viewed. I've tried to view myself in Northern Ireland. I don't define myself by having cerebral palsy. I'm just a dude with cerebral palsy. But the unique thing about Northern Ireland, which it is very unique, we're not a nation that feels sorry for people.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So they're more just like, oh, your legs are sore, get the fuck up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's it. It's kind of, it might surprise people by how little maybe people are really sympathetic to the character with cerebral palsy in it, but that's in my opinion, a Northern Irish attitude. We're not really sympathetic. We're all very pull yourself up, and you know, we've all got problems, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's how I see Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's the characters acknowledge it. Some, you know, will make fun of him for it, but it's not, you know, everyone's mollycoddling him.
Yeah.
You know, it's about the struggle of a guy trying to do his best despite coming from a council estate, being working class and being disabled, and he's still trying to just make the best of his life. And he's also surrounded by his two fucking idiot friends.
And how does it feel now that it's done, that it's kind of like a mirror of your life? How does it feel, like, knowing something like that's gonna...
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird to watch back, because it's not like, oh, I remembered this happened. You know, there'll be characters in it, and it's not like it's based on one person. You sort of take the personality of like a load of people, you know, and pack it into one character. It's weird. It's strange watching yourself back on screen.
Yeah.
And being like, oh, this is based on me and where I grew up, and it's shot in areas I grew up.
Yeah.
It's surreal.
Surreal,
It's really surreal. It's hard to take in.
It'd be weird as well to actually see it properly aired. Like, as in, like, it's out on television, other people are watching it. That's the thing, like, with a TikTok or with a YouTube video, like, you can always take it down.
Yeah.
Not to scare you, but once it's out, it's out. Yeah. But you've probably been allowed to, like, see it and, like, well, probably not allowed to, like, tweak bits off it. Like, I would say
that's not my job.
Yeah.
I have seen parts of it when I narrated over it, but I haven't seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, but I did a voiceover, so I saw a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
That's cool, though.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that now.
Thank you very much. Thank
It's
you.
on Channel 4.
Yes.
OD, or is it actually
4OD?
Is it actually on the TV? Will it be aired on TV, or is it just on like the?
It may be aired on E4 on Channel 4. I'm not 100% certain.
That's class though.
But it'll be available on the streaming service, which is what we watch anyway.
Yeah, no one ever. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Peaky Blinders was on like BBC at like 9, and everybody still watched it on BBC iPlayer. Like,
yeah, because you watch it when you know what I mean, the day of like, oh, I need to be done. I need to get this done because my show's starting. I'm like, I'll watch the fucking show after.
What you had something down there about the standard of TV in NI? What?
Just like your opinion on the standard TV and it's just like Dairy Girls and all obviously doing so well, and then like Normal People and stuff obviously is one that done extremely well. Like I feel like there's a lot of good shows coming from
My Left Nut as well. Was that what it was called? The guy gets
that's a joker.
no, it was a guy gets like testicular cancer. He's like a teenager.
Right.
Oh,
no one say
Never
this.
heard
of it.
No, have I made this show? No, it definitely wasn't. I didn't make this up. Someone Google this.
Yeah, literally Googling it right
Was
now.
it called My Left Nut or something? But it was about a teenage guy who got
Oh
testicular
yeah,
cancer.
drama mini series.
Yes, it was very good.
I don't see the picture.
81% of people like this show.
It was a fucking good show. I didn't make it up. Like everyone looked at me there. Like I just went.
But I suppose like there's more coming out now. Like obviously, like like we mentioned about like there's the whole in Northern Ireland on the TV scene. There's like the political side of things, which is highly dominated on the TV, where it's like, you know, elections, or it's Nolan on the top table with 13-year-olds screaming at each other.
I've
And,
never once watched that one.
Don't. Just don't.
I would love to go on a show like that and just say them, not believe them, but just say mental things that everyone's got this, and they just sit there laughing.
Yeah, but and then you've got obviously Jamie Dornan making an appearance now with The Fall. That's long gone, but then there's other stuff as well. Pure drama there. Would you ever go on like a serious show?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah, if I liked it, if I liked the idea of it,
You would act in it.
Yeah, it's fun to challenge yourself with things and be like how. It's a different approach.
If they could remake one show or one movie, what would you want to star in?
Oh, that's a great question. Great question. I could do a great Walt Jr. in Breaking Bad. I've already got the cerebral palsy, so great in that. You're allowed to. So, by the way, you can laugh at disabled jokes I make. It's fine. They're all about me. I don't make them about other people. What would I make? Fuck. Fargo. Have you ever seen Fargo?
Is that the one with Martin Freeman or something in it?
Yeah. There's 4 series of it.
Yeah.
And they're all amazing. If I could be in Fargo. Or a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't have to remake one. Just if Tarantino was casting, I'd be like, yeah.
100%.
A Tarantino movie about the Troubles, that'd be fucking class.
It'd be so violent.
You tell me that wouldn't be brilliant.
It's like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's just like so nice, and then the next one he starts caving the girl's head in against the fireplace. You're like, how did this go from 0 to 100 in like the 67th minute so quickly?
I'd say you could remake Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but set like Helen's Bay. Do you know what I mean?
Once Upon a Time, Helen's Bay.
Bundoran. What TV show would you be on? I feel like you have this answer locked and loaded already.
I definitely don't know.
You?
I don't know.
Fuck, I'd probably be on a kids' TV show. Like.
Wow.
Okay, weird answer.
Okay, that's
And if you could be in anything with her,
I mean, like,
with
those
children in
fucking game TV shows, like
Probably.
something like that.
Oh,
Like.
right,
No, I don't mean it. Tweenies
Like
or
that
something.
whole
Like.
thing. Tom Hardy with the whole like, see you're reading the bedtime story. See you're not in bed yet. Shay's like, I see you're not in bed yet. Talk on it. What would you do?
Piggy Blinders, maybe. It's class.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
So good.
Skins, eh?
Skins.
Good
is
answer.
another good
Skins
one,
is
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Well, first series. Or no, third series. Isn't it the third one?
I like the first one.
There's the first one's good, and
Can't
second
even
and
think
third and
back,
fourth,
yeah.
but anything after that shit, isn't it?
I think. What's the one with Cook in it? Is that the
He was
third?
in-
Three.
Is that the third
3 and
one?
4,
Aye.
I think.
They're the last good ones. And
Yeah.
then they did the Skins
Oh,
after,
it's like
where it was like.
when they were working and shit, like.
Yeah, like what happened
they
after.
were
and some of
crap
them
though.
He was in
I
it.
liked Cook's
Oh no, the
one.
Cook one was good.
One was
Yeah,
good. It
yeah,
was weird.
yeah.
They were all very weird,
Yeah.
and none of them had like happy endings. You're like, oh, what did my favorite character get up to? Like, oh, he's on heroin. All right.
And that's
Glad I
it.
checked this out.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
know
don't
what
do
I'd be
that.
on.
What would you? Yeah, what would you?
Bad Education, probably.
Would
You
you?
know, like Jack Whitehall's Bad Education.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite programs. Yeah, I just think it's so funny. I think it would be such good crack to like just film. Or I'd love to go on like, you know, one of the reality like survival ones like Bear Grylls The Island or something.
Yeah.
Or like imagine going on like I'm a Celebrity. Like you only get that one. You'd just be an absolute. You'd just be walking around just taking the piss. Like, going and showering all the waterfalls and I'm a Celebrity. Like I wonder how
Who
you
was it?
actually
Yeah,
go
There was
into
a
it.
year someone pissed in the camp. I'm not making this up because it was a whole thing and I can't remember who it was. Carol Thatcher, Maggie Thatcher's daughter, took a big piss in the camp.
Oh my word.
Yeah, I have a weird knowledge of I'm a Celebrity. I used
There
to
you
watch it flat out.
An I'm a Celebrity moment happened to me the other morning where I had sitting. Do you remember that one? Remember that episode where it was the boxer guy dropped the potato in his lemonade, and he's like, "That's classic." Do you know?
Oh, Chris Eubank?
Chris
Yeah.
Eubank.
Yeah, I haven't seen
Yeah.
that. That was a mental sentence. I was trying to fucking comprehend that.
I scooped up like a thing of chips, brought them over to like put them onto my plate, and a chip dropped into my lemonade or like my water. I looked at Mom and I was like, "That's classic." And she was like, "What the hell are you on about?" And I was like,
She's like,
"Go on,
fuck
I'm a
off, get
celeb."
out.
Just wise up, Ross.
Go to bed.
What would be the aim for this? Is what you're doing? Like, would it be to obviously like you're going into it? Would there be like the chance of a second season or like a second?
Yeah, the ultimate aim would be series. That's not up to me, but it would be series. You know what I mean? If you could capitalize on like what Derry Girls and In-Betweeners, if you could make one of those shows.
Yeah.
And I used to be like, I want to make something everyone likes.
Yeah.
That doesn't exist
No.
in this day and age.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I learned that when Kevin Hart came to Lavery's, and you had people, and it went everywhere, and you had people online being like, never heard of him, and you're like, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Do you
If
get
you haven't heard of the biggest fucking star in the world.
That's
Do you get tickets to it?
I saw it, yeah.
Oh, you got tickets to it?
Yeah.
he was probably one of
I'm
these
resident
ones
MC.
who.
You're fucking right.
We had this
Amazing
challenge
just
like
to
that.
be in a room with a guy who's that size.
Yeah.
Of Stardom. He's like smaller than me. Weirdly. Yes, he's like up to here at me.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
Yeah.
But he's amazing. Just to see
Yeah.
someone that experienced and that hard working just work a room. And also the fact like he's not from Belfast. He's
Yeah.
probably never set foot in Northern Ireland, and his material is still relatable. You still know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing I would love to have known. Like, I couldn't get tickets, but it's like, how did he like translate his work over? Because like when you watch his like Netflix shows and stuff, it's like, you know, sort of fitting his lifestyle, if you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah, well, he's talking about, you know, universal themes, being a parent, you know, things like everyone can sort of relate to. He's not coming out being like, yeah, you know, talking about getting the fucking chippy up the falls or whatever. Like. Do you know, he wasn't making Titanic jokes or something. He very much had his set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would do that set.
Yeah.
I can't imagine I'm allowed to repeat any of it.
Yeah.
Not because it's any bad language or whatever, just everyone's pretty much sworn to secrecy when you're in there.
Oh, are they, like, I noticed.
why is that though? Because I've seen a few things where like you're not
Just-
allowed your phones on
Is
and
he-
all.
Bear
like.
in mind how big he is, right?
Yeah.
So when you're working out material, this is the thing. When you're a comedian and when you're working out material, you may end up crossing a line or saying something you did not mean to say, and it may be offensive. It may be a bit fucked up, right? But like people then will record that and be like, oh, he said this, and then once it becomes into the paper, it becomes a statement. It's no longer people be like, oh, Willie meant it. That comedian on stage at a comedy show at a comedy festival, I think he was being serious. They're not. They're always. If you're on stage at a comedy show, you're fucking joking.
Yeah.
You don't mean anything you say. So I imagine with him when he's working out material, he wants to know that's definitely funny. It's not crossing any lines. It's not too offensive.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine that's a part of it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
that's a lot of what people were saying at the moment. He's like almost like testing out material to make sure like it's worth going into like the big like.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you probably know more about this than I do in terms of like you're going and you're testing. You're thinking like, could I use this for like you're doing in July? You're doing a big.
Yes, I'm doing 2 Limelight 2s, and by the time this will be out, I'm doing a Limelight 1 in November or
Yeah.
December time.
Yeah.
So I'm doing 3 Limelight shows. People think for some reason we just make it up
Yeah.
on the stage.
Yeah.
And some people are like, I would just get up and tell my stories. Go ahead, get up with no material, and you'll realise why no
You'll die in your
comedian in
hole.
the history of comedy has ever done that.
Yeah.
Because it would be shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine like getting up in front of people and like maybe like preparing and spending time like writing this thing and
Yeah.
then you just get nothing.
Yeah.
Like what does that feel like? Like
It's terrible. It's terrible, but that's what stand-up is.
yeah.
You have to be prepared to get it. Like even now, and I'm a bit more well known and you want to have the reputation of I kill everywhere, but you have to get up and be like, I have 10 minutes here that I haven't tried.
Yeah.
But I need to try it, and you need to be prepared to die.
Or else you'll just be going around telling the same stuff every time.
And people lose interest. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Whereas I try to do an hour every year. Do you know what I mean? Which you break it down, it's like fucking if you write 10 minutes every month. Do you know what I mean? And you'll probably get 2 hours out of that, and then you break it down into the best hour.
Yeah.
But you still need to be prepared to die on your arse and no one laugh. Do you know what I mean? I've been in rooms of hundreds of people in silence.
Do you remember like one distinct moment that stands out to you where you remember like maybe getting in the car or going home and being like, oh, that's gonna keep me up at night?
Oh yeah, I remember doing the Empire, and it was pretty sold out. It was fucking busy, so I had about 200 people in that room, and I just wasn't landing that night. Like no one liked me, and I'd mentioned in it that my mum had passed away, and then just as towards the end of my set, someone went, "Sorry, is your mum really dead?" And I went, "No, she is," and she went, "Good."
Oh
my
god.
That's funny. You know what I mean? That's funny as shit. That's brilliant.
It's like you're
The nail on the coffin.
yeah, there's
Literally.
you walked into that. I'm just glad he done it, not me. It's normally me being the one to walk into that crap.
You gave him the eyes like your mom gives you during PTA with the teachers, like, you know, when you're meeting the parent teacher conference and they're like, he's a bit chatty, and you're like, is he, isn't he? And they give you eyes, you're fucking.
You get home.
You get out of that car. You'll be walking home. I've lost a train of thought there. there's that clip going around. I forget who he was. He was actually in the jungle, the comedian, but he gave the guy like this remote, and it was like, this is a confetti cannon whenever you feel like it's appropriate in this set. And he was like, so my mum passed away. Yeah. Bang.
That I wonder. It was one of those ones very funny. But I'm watching that for like, how legit are you?
Yeah. Do people like stage things in comedy, like say like hecklers?
I think always definitely stage like
with hecklers. Very rarely. People tend to think like, oh, that, you know, there's no way you could think that quickly on your feet. We do this like 4 or 5 times a week, every week. There's no off season when you're a comedian. You may get it if you want to give yourself a 2-week holiday, but 4 or 5 times a week, every week for like 10 years, you're gonna learn. You almost get like a That's So Raven vision of like you learn people's behavior. I start to learn like who the rowdy ones are, or someone's fidgeting, or someone's like pepping up a wee bit. You start to learn who's going to be the fucking troublemakers. So when they're doing that while you're on, it's kind of mad. Sorry about that. You're kind of mad. You're like on stage doing your act, but you're also subconsciously reading everybody in the room, and you're like looking for things that he's wearing or he's wearing or he looks like while you're doing your act.
What's a red
so that
flag?
If he pipes up, you're ready for something.
What's a red flag? As soon as you go out on stage, do you immediately...
Oh, that's a good one. Whenever a big red flag is when you get in and they're already drunk and the show has just started. Another one is also when you're like doing a bit of crowd work. Say I'm talking to you and you start talking like I'm not even talking to you. That's a red flag because they really want your attention. And that's if you really don't want a comedian to speak to you at a comedy show, make it seem like you want spoken to, because we will not talk to you. We don't want to engage with the fucking attention seekers. I want the dude who's avoiding eye contact with his arms folded. That's who we'll speak to, because I know you don't want it, and that's funny to me.
Have you ever tried to do crowd work and it's immediately just fell on its ass?
I've had one where I got my feelings out really badly recently, where I went, because I'm aware I don't look that disabled. Like, my cerebral palsy isn't evident, I should say, sorry. It's the more politically correct way to phrase that before I get the fucking show cancelled before it's even out. But I remember going to a guy, I was like, oh, what do you think my disability is? And straight away just went, Down syndrome. I was like, well, that's my feelings hurt for tonight.
Was it one I seen on TikTok recently where it was like a girl in the crowd and like the DMs?
Yeah.
What?
It was a girl so I was roasting her from the stage. Like,
you're so confident I was roasting her from the bedroom.
Me and my friends. So I was just making fun of her from the stage. I was like, you're fucking mental, you're mad. And then her mate was like, you've been messaging her on Insta. And in her defense, I absolutely have been,
I've seen that, and I feel like even you yourself, you're like, oh, fuck.
You could see the wheels in my head turning very quickly, because you have about 10 seconds until the crowd dies down to say something. And if you don't address something like that and try to move on, the crowd don't respect you anymore. So you need to say something.
So you've been in this girl's day, what?
Well,
not being weird, just being like, you know, literally what I said to her. Like, they were like, oh, you've been talking to her, and instead I went, oh, and then I was thinking, I was like, what's on them?
you look and roasted.
You looking at it, are you? I think what I actually said, I didn't have it in the clip. I was like, what's happening? I get so much to LA. I could take you so many nice places.
So many nice chippies.
Yeah. We don't have to queue for lamb at Disneyland. I go straight to the front.
What's your favourite flavour of Monster Munch?
God, I'll eat multi-pack
How do you
at
like
the
your
house.
noodles, big and thick?
I can't believe that. Like, what? Where was this? This over here?
Lavery's.
Nice.
Lavery's.
Not too long ago. Nice.
It was actually about 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, see, I couldn't handle that sort of. I just shut down.
I live for it. Because when shit like that happens and you handle it well, all that's happening in my head is like, that's a clip.
Yeah.
Were you back in the DMs after the gig then?
She came backstage, but whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. That's now that you do well dating wise. If you're doing a room and you kill like there's 200 people in it, girls are gonna flirt with you. It's nice. It's that nice side of it, because I'm a tiny wee fat disabled boy. I've never been the one that people are like, oh my god, how you? But then you do well at a comedy show and you're like, am I sexy now?
Yeah.
Finally. I'm not, but I'll take it. Like,
That's nice though. That's mad. I can't believe that.
That's happened a couple of times too. I remember I did the Fela, and everyone know what the Fela is in West Belfast.
Yeah, that was a couple of months ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. It's like a big. I don't know what it's for. It's like a big Irish festival. I can't remember what it's for. I called it an Irish language festival and got fucking murdered. So everyone wrote to me in Irish, so I couldn't understand
Was
it.
that you came on stage and they were playing the song? Like,
Oh yes,
So
yes.
it was a big deal.
You said, oh, you laughed, but you still used the Queen's money or something?
Yeah,
That's
fuck
good.
my story then. That's it.
Sorry, God.
was that it? Yeah.
But yeah, it was just because Paddy McDonald, when he warmed up for me in Limelight, I played Simply the Best before he came out. I didn't tell him I was going to do it. So then when I was going on stage in the Fela in the heart of West Belfast in front of loads of hardline Irish people, and he played fucking Come Out You Black and Tans. And I had to stop. No, we played Celtic Symphony.
Nice.
Yeah. And you had to deal with that. But that, again, if you can deal with stuff like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it makes it so much better.
Yeah. I suppose whenever you walk out on stage, you have them split seconds where you're probably like, I'm going to either smash this or I just don't, like, do you know within the first like 10 seconds, like, this room is going to be laughing or this is going to be hard?
You can feel that immediately from the first joke. If your first joke doesn't do well, you will tend to struggle. Now, you can get it back.
Yeah.
But if your first joke doesn't land, it's like an uphill struggle. Do you know what I mean? It's like conceding in the first
Set
5
the tone,
minutes. You're
like.
like, we could still win this, but we're 1-0 down in the game. Do you know what I mean?
Go ahead.
Is there like a certain place you don't like doing gigs? Because like we've had a couple of comedians on and they've all give the same answer.
Ballymena.
That wasn't the answer.
What was your answer?
The answer they've all gives Lurgan.
I do fine. Alright, Logan. I don't mind Logan.
He's
I'm from Ballymena.
I hate Ballymena.
Shame.
They never fuck up.
Yeah.
Anytime I've done a gig in it, it's never went well for me.
Yeah.
Did you
It's
not say you
persistent.
were the Gaddis gig
we
in
were-
Ballymena and those people wouldn't shut up on
Me
it?
and a mate went to get us, and Aaron McCann was supporting him, and I remember we were chatting to Aaron McCann after, like, not after, like, as if best mates, but like we were chatting, like, this is a couple of months on, we started doing the podcast and we got him on a Zoom podcast, but like he said they pretty much the exact, like, there was a couple of people just pissed at the front, and then there was like another few people just being dicks, and like there was people up at the back as well that were pure, like, they just wanted everybody to know that they smoked weed. Like, I think Colin Geddes said something about weed and they were like, yo, and then like 2 minutes later they were like, but 420, and you're just like, oh, right, you smoke weed, well done.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and there was a few people
It's
up
the
at
big
the
Ballymena stoner. I don't know how that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Smoke weed every day.
Cutting grass, smoking grass. That's it. But anyway, I think it's the braid. Like, a lot of people have issues with the braid because
braid
it's a theater. Like, it's not like, and I even noticed that people want to get up to go to the toilet, and you have to get up, and like then you lose the concentration of people. Like, you're trying to.
Yeah,
Like,
I've just every time I do Ballymena, I come out going, I now have a price. There's like a price out that, like, so there's certain price I that's my bottom line for doing a gig. Do you know what I mean? Unless it's me doing new material or I'm looking stage time, I'll do it for lower. But if you're trying to hire me, that's my set price.
Yeah.
For Ballymena, it's double.
Give your Ballymena
I'm
price.
not going to Ballymena for less than this.
Yeah, I
It's double every other
mate, like, I'm probably one of the few people from Ballymena that would agree with you. Like I would. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it's not even like people hear this. I slag off Ballymena every time someone's like, I was in Ballymena. You hear me in the background of the show going, "Fucking Ballymena, fucking Ballymena, hate Ballymena." I just don't like it.
yeah, a lot of people say the best part of it's the way out.
Yeah.
But you've been in it a few times and you just have no opinion of it.
There's not much to say.
But like when you take people through it, they're like, "Oh, Bob and Birds, that's nice."
Yeah.
They're just finding some. Oh, Argento.
Yeah.
You've jewelry.
Very, very modern of you. You chips.
How many chips? Oh, what? You've something over the value of £2. That's amazing. But
It's one of those like towns. I feel a lot of people in it have never left it.
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know? And everyone knows it.
He's fucking 22, going to buy a house in Ballymena.
Never
gonna leave.
But like the issue is, like, you see geographically, right? Geographically, like, it's good.
Are you gonna
because
justify how
Sorry,
Ballymena's good
Ballymena,
here?
you're
Like,
like 30 minutes from Belfast and like 30 minutes from like Portrush and stuff. Like, if that's
all the pros of Ballymena is that you're close to other places.
yeah,
Like,
it's like a wee triangle. You're just in the middle of everything, if you know what I mean.
It's easy to get out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ballymena. It's the fucking cultural hub of the country.
Me and Ross will be like, "Are you sure you want to buy a house here?" I mean, shit.
That's the biggest out. You're 10 minutes away from a McDonald's. Ballymena.
Nice.
But Lurgan gets shit on quite. I mean, Lurgan gets shit on quite a lot, but I like Lurgan.
I wouldn't really know a lot about Lauren. I know like
I don't really know much about Ballymena.
Lauren gets a lot of bad rep. But
I don't think I've ever been there in my life.
Lauren's
just one of those, we call them comedy cities.
Yeah.
Where if you put them in a punchline, people go, oh, there's a shithole.
Yeah.
So you're like, ba 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 ba. In Lauren, and people are like, oh, fucking shit, Lauren. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those cities. I don't think I've ever been in my life. Lurgan's another one.
Yeah.
You'd be like, fucking Lurgan, and they're like, ah.
I feel like though in Ballymena, because everybody kind of knows each other, like you don't really go in. Like there wouldn't be a time where I didn't go into Ballymena where I didn't like know someone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that really, like some people just like that.
Hey, that's what I don't like.
You know what I mean?
Do you know where everyone
Whereas you're
just knows each
completely
other?
different.
Like?
You're like, I just don't want to be like up, like, and you live up
Everyone
here,
knows
and
your
you're
business
like,
and all that. Like,
yeah.
that's fuck that. Like.
It's a good thing you do a podcast then.
We started this podcast for Thomas's ones in Armagh to keep track of. That's what in the bulletins in Armagh.
Is that where you're from, Armagh?
Yeah.
I like Armagh.
I like it. It's nice. Bagel bean.
Lurgan's normal.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? I went to the Boulevard in Banbridge the other day, and people were like, "It's like Junction 1." It's nothing like Junction 1. It's actually good. Like it's actually like Junction
I
1.
don't even know what Junction 1 is. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
Shopping centre.
It's a shopping. It's like
like a
It
complex.
doesn't
like a
sound like a
complex.
shopping centre, does it? Though Junction 1, like.
Yeah, or they've rebranded it now to the Junction.
Oh, is that what it
The
is?
Junction.
What a big fucking rebrand at it.
But
The
it's
Junction.
literally just like a Nike store is the best thing and a Next outlet, and that's kind of the only reason.
Yeah.
And then like if you go around the corner, there's the Works, which I definitely think the Works is 100% money laundering.
What is that like the wee arts and crafts
Yeah,
store?
yeah.
And they're always like a fucking
Yeah.
4 shots high.
How do they make money?
Full of
How much
shit, like
glitter can you sell?
And selling paper.
PVA glue. Like.
There's
Same with
def-
shoes on. Shoes on
Shoes.
Yeah.
must be a money laundering floor. How does shoes on still exist? It's survived a pandemic, a credit crunch, a recession,
Yeah. But then when
and a world war now.
but then when when you're selling shoes for like £16, there's bound to be some sort of, you know.
It's the same as the American sweet
Poundland,
shops,
you know
like,
what I mean?
definitely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I've seen on TikTok, like in London, apparently they're definitely like the main streets in London. There's like
Yeah.
American sweet shops everywhere.
Yeah.
Like.
And nobody in them. Like.
Poundland makes sense though. You know there'll always be a market for like 4 Snickers
Yeah.
for a quid.
Quid,
Yeah.
yeah.
Shoes on, I've never seen anyone in it.
Yeah, so true. They always smell the same, don't they?
It
Oh.
does. It does.
They always
Yeah.
smell the same.
It's like leather or something. Or?
Yeah, just the leather.
Not
scooch.
leather,
Leather.
like pleather. I wouldn't say.
Yeah. It
There's a
just
sweat
smells
shop
like
out the back.
500 plimsolls. That's that smell.
Yeah.
I want someone to look into that. Like that's what Nolan should be doing.
Bottle that smell and sell
Yeah.
it as a candle.
I was
Shoes
more
on.
meaning investigate shoes on, but if you want to go fucking Gwyneth Paltrow with it, yeah, alright. You have my fanny or shoes, then that's your stance.
Boojum done it like so. Shoes on should be on it like.
If you get a one
I bet.
candle in your house to smell like anywhere, what would it be? I feel like this is a good place to stop.
People's
Right.
coming in.
I think we should
Shoes
stop
on,
now.
Right, here we go, right? Starting off with Thomas. One
Fuck,
candle
I
night.
know, like.
I'm talking like as soon as you light that, you know, like, I'm in my happy place.
What sort of question is that?
A smell that you always walk in and you're like, wow, could be anything.
I like that.
I got that new car. No, is it? What's the blue one? You know the wee tree in your car. And I'm already sick of it. The new car smell. Have you never smelled that?
A new car smell. Yeah.
The magic tree that's new car
The
smell.
smells of blue. I don't.
It's blue. Have you
A
not
new
smelled
car-
this?
No,
Like,
no,
new car scent.
no.
But every
Are
new
you
car-
fucking serious?
Every new car smells differently.
But it's a specific fucking tree.
I've never.
Magic tree.
I'm not big into my
I
magic
don't know where
trees.
to go here. I feel like this is such a bad question.
I just thought everyone knew what it was. I can't believe you don't know what it is.
The way I used to be jelly beans.
Oh, they're fucking stinking.
Oh, they're great.
They smell good for like 5 minutes and they're done. Like.
Oh, they don't last at all.
Yeah.
Do you ever see them? The canisters for spraying your car. It's like a fucking power
Oh,
hose.
the blast
pressure
cans.
on
Like,
it,
there's some job. Like.
One of them exploded on me one day in the car. Have you seen them? Hyper Fresh, they're called. You literally just a wee touch and it.
Yeah.
I was sitting in it now. This may be going back. I was like 18, and it's literally like getting in the car. I had one right behind me, so like I could just like reach over and just give it a wee touch. And I remember one day I get in the car, pulled the seat back and hit it, and the top of it came off. And I mean, There, and I couldn't even find the door handle. I was like, and it was, what was it, Cherry Blossom? And I was just like, just trying to find the car door, just kicked the car door open and like rolled the canister. And it grabbed the canister and chucked it out of the car, but there was that much power in it, it hit the ground and just shot off like a missile out through the front gate. Like, they are pressurized. Like,
What a way to die.
I know.
They say it
He's
was a
dead, but at
Yankee-
least he smelt nice.
Say it was a Yankee candle did the damage.
Someone walking up to like say their final goodbyes. They're like, oh god, he smells nice, doesn't he?
Smells like a new car.
But we'll end that there, or we will get kicked out of this place. Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me, guys.
And good luck with your shows
Yes,
and
that's
your
William
TV.
Orangedale, 6th of May.
Yeah, and we'll what's the best place? Just Instagram to follow you on for anybody listening.
Yeah,
for
Instagram, William
everything.
Thompson Comedy, TikTok, William Thompson. I don't really, I kind of use Facebook, but not really.
No one uses Facebook anymore.
Twitter, if you're 90, Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Instagram, TikTok.
Go follow and be sure to get your tickets and tune in to the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thank you very much, guys.